Kendrick Lamar does deserve to do a halftime, but not yet.
Taylor Swift is too big for the Super Bowl.
Drake is going to be a massive part of the World Cup.
If he performs at the World Cup final, that is astronomically bigger than the Super Bowl.
It would have made more sense to have Kendrick Lamar a part of the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
I disagree.
100%.
I disagree.
I'd bet on it.
I gotta stack out this gold. I tell you I'm on the road. About to get all this dough. Me and no fuck niggas know. I swear to God we the ghosts. This ain't the story they told. Man, if you know, then you know. I never had to tell my dogs that we on rough for greatness. They pay for getters, they want money.
Welcome to The Real Oshow. If you clicked on this video, you're interested in two white guys discussing Kendrick Lamar announced as the halftime show. I'm Zachary. With me, as always, is my brother Joshua. But not just him being announced as the halftime performer. I want to go deep diving, Joshua, into why he was announced. So give your first 10,000-foot view of why Kendrick Lamar got announced as Super Bowl halftime.
This has nothing to do with Kendrick Lamar and Drake, but actually with Jay-Z. So for people that don't know, Jay-Z and the NFL collaborated in, I believe, 2019, Rock Nation and NFL. Basically,
they signed a multi-year deal as Rock Nation as live entertainment strategist.
Yeah, exactly. They just wanted to be, hey, Jay-Z, make sure our entertainment is cool. Make sure the things that we're doing are on the right track. Probably a great guy to actually do that with. Now, this move to not have Lil Wayne in the New Orleans Super Bowl is actually blasphemy. Now, again, Kendrick Lamar does deserve to do a halftime show. I don't disagree with that at all. I just think of LA last year. They brought out Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem. Obviously, there was 50 Cent and stuff, but that was a whole other side thing. To me, the perfect thing to do is match the game with the artist that would fit that city. Now, granted, you could go back and be like, well, why wasn't Beyonce in Houston? Why, there's a couple other ones you could do. Like, don't get me wrong. If Jay-Z was the head of this department when Beyonce did the halftime show, she would have done it in Houston. So to me, this is kind of like and we can kind of get into the beef with Jay-Z and Lil Wayne.
I think it gets a little deeper. I want to take a step back because I actually don't know the inner workings between Jay-Z and Lil Wayne. I know Jay-Z and Drake because that's what you're seeing a lot on social media now. You're seeing that the Kendrick Lamar Drake was really Drake beefing with Jay-Z, but Kendrick Lamar was the puppet. Now, and I will also second what Joshua said. Kendrick Lamar definitely deserves a halftime show. I believe in it, but Lil Wayne would have crushed it. And Drake's still yet to do one. Now, I don't know if that's his own doing that he hasn't done one yet, or he's just never been asked.
I think he's definitely been asked to do the halftime show.
But the second layer I want to add onto this is Rock Nation is this all-encompassing entertainment brand. But I think most importantly that's overlooked. They represent legit some of the best athletes in the NFL. So it's like if you fuck them over in some other area, they're just going to fuck you over on the athlete side. And guess what? The owners are going to be pissed. And when the owners are pissed, Roger Goodell gets fucking chewed out. So I think there's also that inner working that can't get missed. Yes, it's the live music part, but it's also still a sport. And those sports contracts are getting bigger and bigger, especially in the NFL.
Yeah, to me, I think that, yes, are Drake and Jay-Z beefing at one time? I do think that. But to me, I think the Drake being dragged into this was kind of like the cherry on top for Jay-Z. To me, this is between Lil Wayne and Jay-Z, and they've had a couple of shots back and forth with each other in different lyrics and whatever. That's kind of rap. And same with Drake and Jay-Z. They've also kind of thrown shots at each other. But to me, this was kind of like the ultimate fuck you to Lil Wayne. And his manager actually posted online was basically like, we'll never let anyone else dictate our future. Yeah,
I think it was his producer.
I thought it was his manager, but it doesn't matter. Basically, we'll never let anybody dictate our future. We'll only dictate our future, which I don't even know what that means. But to me, it's saying that, like, we don't even care if Jay-Z offers us in the future. Like, we'll never do anything with them again. That's kind of what it made it seem like. But to me, like, Kendrick Lamar could do something even cooler and, like, bring out Lil Wayne. Now, I don't think he would because Drake and Lil Wayne are tight. But to me, it's actually crazy because the Super Bowl halftime show to me is always like someone who's kind of at the end of their career but has so solidified that everyone knows who they are. Kendrick Lamar isn't there yet. Like, I think this is like too early for Kendrick. But the reason why I say Drake does have a little bit to do with it, I think that was like the turn of the knife for Jay-Z was kind of like, oh, Lil Wayne, not only are you not only going to do it, I'm going to make Kendrick do it. So I think it's this whole thing.
Honestly, it doesn't even really make sense to me. I once again want to say Kendrick Lamar does deserve to do a halftime, but not yet. I think there's multiple artists that actually deserve it over him, and to leave out Lil Wayne in New Orleans, just to me, I haven't processed it yet to make it make sense in my head, and it's definitely a shot at Drake. But I do want to do the caveat if you're ready to move on. Drake has a lyric from First Person Shooter that's big as the Super Bowl, which came out last October. And then in February, sat down with the president of FIFA, because obviously the World Cup 2026 is in the U.S., Canada, and Mexico, so North America. Drake is going to be a massive part of the World Cup, and I truly think he's going to perform in Toronto for one of the big games, whether it's Canada versus somebody, and it's legit going to get 4 billion views, whereas the Super Bowl gets 100 million, and that's as big as the Super Bowl, where he's going to 10 times the Super Bowl.
See, to me, one, Drake is an ambassador for Canada, so that's why he was speaking with the president and stuff. To me, the only way he gets to trump Kendrick is if he performs like the halftime of the World Cup final. That to me is like, you're big timing him. Like, because that's where you're getting the 4 billion. Like, no one's watching Colombia versus Great Britain and we're getting 4 billion views. Like, that's not happening. Maybe over the weekend you are, but not at that game directly. Maybe it's more than the Super Bowl. Still, I don't know. But to me, again, like, Kendrick could never do a World Cup. It's too broad. Like, people on the other side of the world don't know who Kendrick Lamar is. You can't go to Tokyo and they're like, I know Kendrick Lamar.
Well, I don't even
They do know Drake.
They do to an extent. Way more. They know Drake way more than they know Kendrick. But that's what I was going to say about actually the Super Bowl halftime. Is you said earlier, well, he's going to drop a project and then go on tour after the Super Bowl. I actually disagree, because he's going to drop a project after the Super Bowl and then go on tour, because if he dropped new music right now, 7 months before the Super Bowl, still no one would know the music.
No, I think
he's gonna play 8 songs that his super fans are so past because they were his radio hits, and that's what he's gonna go after, because the Super Bowl is broad. It's not for your super fans, it's for the person who's never fucking heard of you.
That's why, okay, so like on the internet, I keep seeing people being like, how many times is he gonna say not like us? How many times is he gonna be like, you're a pedophile on there? Like, to be honest with you, I don't even know. I think he plays Not Like Us maybe once, but it's only going to be like the hook.
Yeah.
Like, people don't understand. These Super Bowl shows, you're playing a smidgen of a song, you're moving on to the next song. A smidgen of a song, move on to the next song. He's going to bring 1 or 2 people out with him, because everyone does, because they're going to transition into some other big thing to close it off. Like, to me, again, I think Kendrick is going to have a great show. Honestly, like, in my heart of heart, I'm like, I think he's going to have a good Super Bowl show, but I would have personally liked to see Lil Wayne there. Like, and again, I'm not a Kendrick hater. I'm not a fucking Lil Wayne glazer. But Wayne is arguably, in my lifetime, a top 3 artist. Like, through and through, what he has done. Maybe the generation coming up isn't familiar with Lil Wayne's game. But, like, our generation, Lil Wayne, everything he touched was gold. And I think that people have gotten away from that because he's kind of out of the game a little bit. But this is the perfect time for him to do a Super Bowl. It's the same thing like Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. Like, they're not making relevant music right now, but they came back and gave a fucking great show, and everyone knew their songs.
Wasn't it Usher that did last year too?
Yeah, maybe it was Usher, and then
Usher,
it was
2 years ago.
2 years ago was LA.
Last year was Miami.
Yeah,
which was Usher. Did.
And that's what people are saying. They're like, oh, well, Usher's not from Miami. You're right. I'm not saying you necessarily have to do it because Lil Wayne is in.
It just makes so much sense. Listen, it
makes sense.
It makes sense if you went the rap route. They went Kendrick Lamar. That's rap. The king of rap in a lot of ways is Lil Wayne, and it's in New Orleans. It's like it was just so many things lined up, and then they were like, fuck that, let's go back West Coast. That was 2 years ago. Like, it would have made more sense to have Kendrick Lamar a part of the Super Bowl 2 years ago. I'd have still been like, that's way early, but you could have made him a part of it, and it would have made sense because it's out West. Because the whole show was Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg doing the West Coast thing. Obviously, Eminem came out, 50 Cent came out, and all that, but it still was super West Coast. It just doesn't make sense in my head at all.
And that's actually kind of a funny point, too, with the LA Super Bowl, that Eminem almost pulled out of that because he wanted to bring 50 Cent in, and Jay-Z and 50 Cent have always kind of like beefed a little low key. Again, they're both New York guys, both competed a lot. And 50 Cent, what people do, 50 Cent is a player. It doesn't matter if he's music, movie, he does it all. And people will get jealous, and people are like, I can understand that. So they obviously beefed a little bit, but respect Eminem for like kind of standing on his ground with Jay-Z and be like, no, I'm going to fucking pull out. And at the end of the day, like Jay-Z has to do his job and put on a good show for the people, which again, the LA one turned out great. To me though, this is a huge miss. I will say this though. Everyone was thinking that it was going to be Taylor Swift. Like everyone thought
they couldn't go that way.
Taylor Swift's too big. Taylor Swift is too big for the Super Bowl. Like that's straight up. Like she is too big for the Super Bowl.
It would have been too much of like, I think NFL fans are already getting to the point where it's like, okay, enough with the Taylor Swift bullshit. That if it was then the halftime behind it, people would have been fucking pissed. People would have turned the TV off.
I disagree. Because here's my thing. You can be...
Wait, you don't think NFL people are over the Taylor Swift shit? Like real football people?
Yes. They're sick of her being shown on TV. They're not sick of her going to perform a 15-minute set. To me, Taylor Swift has so many hits that you could have 45 to 65-year-old white men watching TV being like, I know this Taylor Swift song. And to me, that's also powerful. Like, I can remember when we were kids, like, maybe like Shakira did it, or like, I forget. Shakira did it. And it was like, our dad and our Uncle Penzi were watching that. They didn't know one song. They were like, oh, yeah, shaking that ass. Like, that's great. Like, sometimes you just need that.
Yeah.
But to me,
sex sells.
Sex does. I mean, Usher's sex, bro, and he sold.
He is, yeah.
So, and he had a great show. Again, to me, though, I think it was a big miss on that behalf. But I think it's more important that Drake is going to, like, all the Kendrick fans are looking at this being like, oh, Drake's even lost. There is no round 2. Fuck you, bitch. If he performs at the World Cup final, that is astronomically bigger than the Super Bowl.
I truly believe that's Drake's master plan.
Yeah.
He's predicted so many things so well. And now you have like the big as the Super Bowl. And I don't know if he was like, I'm trying to go for the Super Bowl, or if the whole time he was like, I'm ambassador of Canada. FIFA's coming. I was already in contact. I'm going to be a big part of it. And he's like, fuck the Super Bowl. Because he probably saw the stars aligning with bringing Kendrick out. He probably knew that shit.
For sure.
5 months ago.
Yeah, he definitely did.
And he knew kind of what Kendrick was building up to do with the beef, the album, the tour. Now he's got the Super Bowl. So Drake saw that coming. I think he was like, fuck it. I'm going to push to be performing for the World Cup, which it'll actually be in America. The final will probably be in America.
It doesn't matter.
It might be weird, but
it doesn't matter, bro. Drake is international. I don't care if the World Cup was in Hong Kong. Drake would still be the number one fucking show. Like that's the reality. Like to me, it doesn't matter. Obviously, like the Toronto, North America, whatever. It doesn't matter where it is. Drake is an ambassador for the North American World Cup, and he's gonna perform. Whether it's the finals, whatever it is, but it has to be one of those big pillar moments or else it's really not going to hit. I was just having this conversation with Suspense online. If you don't know, now you know. We were talking about it back and forth, and he was like, do you think it's going to be bigger than Kendrick? And I said, in America, no. Globally,
what do you
100%.
mean bigger than Kendrick? The Super Bowl?
Like the Super, yes. The Super, like people are
the World Cup will be bigger in America than the Super Bowl, 100%.
I disagree.
100%.
I disagree.
100%.
I disagree.
I'd bet on it.
I disagree.
Okay, let's bet on it.
Yeah.
Let's take the viewers from the Super Bowl.
Well, it doesn't
We'll take
matter.
international views, and
it
we'll just take
I'm
American
not
viewers
talking
for the World
about views. I'm talking about the culture that it's going to bring from this. Kendrick's impact on this Super Bowl is going to be a lasting impact that Drake is going to have to wait 2 more years to then bounce back from and be like, I'm now performing 2 years later. Like, it's going to be an afterthought. Like, people, it's going to be such an afterthought of everything.
Drake has a lyric that says, you thought we let it die down. Now we're sneaking across enemy lines, something like that. That is literally what the FIFA World Cup is to Kendrick's Super Bowl performance. It's 2 years later. People are going to be like, oh, the beef's over. Kendrick won. And he's going to be like, motherfucker, this is my round 2.
No. Round 2 is happening way before that. DJ Academics already tweeted, like, round 2 is still on. And again, if you haven't seen the Kendrick ad, he said, you only get one chance at a championship. There are no round 2s because Drake said we're going to do a round 2 to this beef. Now, pretty strong pull by Kendrick there, smart, whether it was his idea or not his idea. I know how commercials work. It's rarely the artist or person in the ad that's doing anything creatively with the ad, but I don't want to take that away from Kendrick. He could have been a part of that. But to me, I think it's going to hit harder for Kendrick because the beef is so new. Like 7 months from now, people are still going to be talking about the beef. 2 years from now, a lot of people are going to be disassociated with the beef. There's going to be a whole nother realm of things, personally.
I mean, maybe, but you don't know.
I mean, there's beefs that, like, listen, there's been rap beefs that have lasted decades, and they're still relevant. But to me, like, it has to be a real maneuvered thing for Drake for it to make sense for it to be more impactful in America. Like, to me, when I watched this last World Cup, bro, I watched like 2 games, bro. And that's the average American. Like, no one gives a fuck about soccer in America.
But you would watch it if Drake was performing.
Sure, I'd watch it if Drake was performing, but I don't think I would stand as the average person because I love Drake. Like, to me, I don't give a fuck about the World Cup. Like,
but
the World Cup
a lot
blows.
of people do give a fuck about the World Cup. Even people
Globally,
that aren't fans to cheer for the U.S.
Globally, you're not listening to me.
Truly
I said Drake will have more of an impact globally. Kendrick's impact will be bigger in America. It 100% will, because everyone in America is going to tune in to the Super Bowl. Not everyone in America tunes into the World Cup.
I agreed, but it doesn't mean his performance actually leaves an influence just because everybody in America watches it.
I'm just saying, in America, Kendrick's performance will have more of an impact.
It has the potential to have more impact.
I just think the timing is better. And again, Kendrick isn't a global artist. He is an American artist. He is going to be popular in America, maybe UK. Outside of that, Kendrick has no appeal. So to me, all these other people like Drake's going to have people in Tokyo, Africa, Dubai singing his songs. No one's going to be singing swimming pools in fucking Tokyo. Like, no one's doing that right now. Like, that's just a fact. So, I don't know. To me, that's how I feel.
I mean, I respect it, but if you made it this far, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Let us know what you liked, let us know what you didn't like, and let us know what we should talk about next.
Also, comment wristbands, and we will send you a wristband. Let's go.
White and black, too. Put wristband in the color you want. How about that?
Yeah, black or white. So, appreciate you guys. All love.
I gotta stack up this gold. I tell you I'm on the road. About to get all this dough. Me and no fuck niggas know. I swear to God we the ghosts. This ain't the story they told. Man, if you know, then you know. I never had to tell my dogs that we on road for greatness.